Basically, Dunure, we call it like a jewel of Ayrshire because of the harbour, etc., and it's well known in the castle. I think it's got great potential.
Bridging Digital is Erasmus-funded research projects. Within this framework that we have set out for the projects, we've got 2 sets of studies, and I have nominated the Dunure projects, which our students contributed to. I was interested in how to set community relationships.
Then COVID happened, and everything kind of just it stopped, and they were also at that time going to try and promote the heritage of the village and the fishing and things. So it's great that it started up again, and hopefully it can develop further.
The idea was, when this is a success, and it would happen annually, we could also have music on it and make an event to bring people into the village. And the place is mobbing, and I believe it or not, it is. It's unbelievable the amount of people that come, but they come and there's nothing there for them. So that's why we're trying to get a heritage centre.
One good thing that's come from the pandemic for us in the coffee shop, we've had a lot of people come here from Britain now that would maybe have been abroad. They've had to, because of circumstances, take their holidays in Britain. We're hoping that they continue to come, even when everything opens back up, that they'll remember this wee village and continue to come here.
The last stage of the projects, it was called the Stories and Histories of Dunure, and we wanted to utilise the projection mapping technology to tell local stories. We are approaching this project not as a social scientist or archivist. We are approaching it as an artist, and always thinking about the new media art, how the amalgamation between technology and social and cultural contexts, as well as artistic practice, can produce something quite original. So it was all based on their creative research and their creative strategies, to whether it's focusing on the format or the narratives, or perhaps incorporating with the site specificity that the Dunure Castle offered.
My group wanted to keep it strictly to the history. We wanted it to keep it quite noticeable, that if you knew, you know it's Dunure. You can tell it's Dunure from the people that's in it, like my great-grandpa and his boats are in it, which are also the boats that my dad fished on when he started the fishing industry as well. If you look in the harbour, it's tiny little boats, it's not anything in comparison to what it used to be. My photos are looking at maybe over 50 boats in that harbour at one point, and there's not that now. I think there's a basic age bracket of like my grandparents here that don't know much about technology, and I know when I started to tell them what I was doing, they didn't have an understanding of it. I had to explain it. So I think they've learned about a very basic understanding of how it works, when I have learned about the history.
So there are lots of logistic challenges that we didn't foresee, but they were all part of the risk assessment to an extent, and that's why we managed quite well. But it was a tough process because that has not been done previously. I didn't see what kind of textures that the castle was able to bring to those projection artworks, but also the sceneries, because I haven't been there at that time, at that kind of time of day.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see it. I don't think really anything's been done in Dunure Castle like this before. It was used for different projects in film. I think it was an Outlander, but I don't think anything live for the village has ever happened like this before. So I think it'll be nice to see historic elements from the past being portrayed in an image. COVID really affected it in the fact that this was all waiting to happen a couple of years ago, that we were actually the first to get it. So I think as long as they keep it growing, and I think the community would like it and like to see it, they like to be able to talk about positives within it.
It was meant to be the projects that happens within 2019 and 2020, but due to the pandemic, so we didn't have that last final showcasing that we hoped. But we resumed it, but in fact we added additional project. So we are developing a digital archive website, and that will include all the previous works as well as the rationals and you will give any future researchers or anybody involved in the campaign to look at the great value that the village offers, but also the artist collaborations.